welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome to Africa. Hashtag here I come. Bonjour, hola, nege def, uh, and assalamu alaikum. And if you don't know, today's topic is going to be about fathers, single fathers. And today we have a
Terry G.
and he's going to answer a couple of my questions. We tried to go live, but it wasn't working out so well. So,
Went to the next best.
and the next best thing is this. So, um, Terry,
Yes.
we all would like to know, um, how was it in your household growing up?
Average, normal, single mom, raising 5 boys, doing the best she can with what she had.
Okay, so you come from a household with a single parent
Yes.
and a hardworking mother.
Yes,
And
yes.
okay, because I was thinking like, oh wow, somebody who's dedicated to taking care of their children, it had to be some type of female influence
Yes.
in that, and I was right.
Yeah, it played a big part in it. It's like when you're not raised with a dad and you got a dad that's out there that's living that's not really participating to help out. Your mom, it's very rough on her as a single parent trying to raise 5 boys. It's rough raising 5 boys. So my dedication to that is saying that me seeing my mama struggle, how hard it was for her, and my dad was never there for me, I always told myself I'd never be like that person. I'm gonna be better than regardless if I'm with the parent, with their mother or not, I'm still gonna be there for my kids. I can't turn my back on my kids because I didn't have a father. I wasn't raised with a father. So I choose to make it my destiny to be in my children's life, regardless of the situation between me and their mother.
I think that's amazing, and that's a noble thing to do.
You know.
You get some guys that turn around and they're mad.
Yeah, they very, it's basically like saying they're selfish because you're not with the parent, the partner, the mother of your children that you feel that you ain't got obligated to take care of your kid. That's not the case because you got to understand, once you create something that's a part of you, always remember that's a part of you. So as a man, you should be willing to want to take care of something that is a part of you that came out your creation. You can't just say, okay, well, because I'm not going to look at my child. The child has to do what you and the mother go through. That's your child. As a man, you should take responsibility and take care of your child.
I agree. And you're doing a very good job at it.
I appreciate it. I try to do my best.
You're doing great. Okay, I have another question. We all would like to know. My fans would like to know. Is my audience? How many children do you have?
2.
Uh,
One boy, one girl.
And what are their ages?
5 and 4.
And my question is, do you plan on having any more children in the future, or has this experience kind of turned you off from not,
Well,
wanting to?
I don't want to be like the majority of the guys just be out here making babies here and there. It got to be more effort into it. Just going out laying up with somebody and having kids. If there's no love, if there's no bond there, there's no point in me making a baby with somebody that we just being like fraternal. It's no. I mean, but if it happens, it happens. I fulfill my duties as a father. You
Um, are your children attending school right now? Since
Yes, they
you
are.
said 4 and 5, right?
Yeah, they're attending school, pre-K and kindergarten.
Oh, okay. So my question is, how do you feel about your children attending school?
Well, with their mindset and they're very intelligent, I prefer them to be in school than be out in the world learning the negative stuff when they can learn something positive. Why waste a good mind when you can put a good mind to use and hopefully one day become something positive as an asset to the you know world itself.
Yeah. And what about COVID? Do you get nervous that they might catch something from the other students, or how do you
Yeah, I
deal with
worry
that?
about that too, but I try to equip them with all the necessary equipment that they need, the masks, sanitizer, and hand wipes. So, like I tell them, make sure they wash their hands and, and be careful minded about touching things and make sure they wash their hands. So I try to keep them on a health safety.
And is it hard parenting? Because I don't have any children, and I've babysitted, and I even babysitted your children, your
Yes, you
wonderful
have.
children.
Yes, you have.
And I, I thought I can do it, and try to work and take them with me, and it was just like, wow, it was just like
It's
this is,
overwhelming.
yes, it's like I thought it was so easy just by looking, like, oh, in my
Yeah.
mind, oh, I could do this, and ooh,
You got to really, basically have a strong mindset. You got to have good patience.
and I don't have
So,
that.
with that
I'm
being said,
horrible.
yeah, true enough, there come a time where you just want to wring their neck, but then you got to think about it.
No, no,
You
not
was
raining
once,
that, not raining
just,
not not raining that.
once, you got to realize too, once you was a kid and you know how it is growing up,
Yeah,
you tarnish your mom and who the ones that were born up in a household with a mother and father, but the majority of us are single parent raised. You just gotta think about the whole outcome. And I think about a lot about how my dad was never there, and he was around, but he wasn't there.
okay.
So it plays a big part as being a father to your kids and stepping up, and, fulfilling that void that you didn't have.
Right.
So,
So I have a question. Another one. I have plenty of questions. So do you cook?
yes, I do.
Okay, and may I ask, how did you learn how to cook? Like, did you teach
Well,
yourself?
watching my mom, and then on my other half side, which is my auntie them, which is their brother, they from the country, so they basically cook from scratch. And when they go,
Okay.
they have you in the kitchen watching them. You want to kind of like, you got to understand too, as a man, you can't always depend on the woman to cook for you because you're not always going to have a woman. So you got to be able to learn how to cook for yourself.
Right,
If it comes to a point where you are raising your kids,
right. I agree.
you can't always go out and buy that
I
old
agree.
hot food and processed food like that. You got to be able to get in the kitchen and cook a home cooked meal sometimes.
I
So
agree.
you gotta really pay attention what your mom and your auntie and everybody else taught you and want to even learn how to cook for yourself. So if you ever are alone and you don't have a partner, you gotta be able to feed yourself and not starve.
Right. I agree with
So
that. My mother always told my brother that, as well, you know.
yep.
Yeah. So they knew how to cook. Okay, so moving along. Are you getting any type of help or anything from the government or any type of
No
assistance?
government assistance. I'm basically doing it all on my own. Their mom do help out, to a certain extent where she keeps me during the day while I'm at
The one of them, that's Nana. That's the diva.
work.
One second. Everything goes on hold when it comes to them. That's why I like, this family. I was like, oh, let me do an interview. I think
I
it's
get
cool.
my free. Alright, so go back and I'll call you right now. Alright.
So he said he's not getting any assistance or anything like that. So I think that's kind of awesome and amazing. And I think it should be some type of programs for single fathers, regardless if they're making
X amount of dollars.
X amount of dollars. So,
Because we can utilize that resource to help us out a little more when it comes to certain things for us, like extra funds for this, or like for activities, or put them in some programs to, help better them so they can keep being positive instead of negative. It's
right.
hard when you're only and you got to do everything yourself, and you got this bill, that bill, this bill, that bill.
Right. Okay. Is it hard getting them to bed at night? Because growing up, I hate going to bed and I hated getting up.
Well,
So
in that aspect, because once we go out and play and be out, They usually come back and go to sleep.
Oh, okay.
You know, because you gotta go out and take them out and work them out and make them tired. And when they want to go home, they bathe, eat, and go to sleep. Sometimes they be asleep before you get here. You wake them up, you bathe them, make sure they brush their teeth, and then you feed them, and then
He
they'll go
said
to
then you
sleep.
feed them. Okay, but how do you get them to bed if you're not taking them out anywhere? Like if which y'all always going out. I
Well,
never
usually,
know
like,
them to
look,
be one day
you
in the
know,
house.
I play with my kids, so my daughter like to wrestle. So she like to play with me a lot, and my son he busy on his game and he fall asleep playing his PS4. So a lot of times, he gets sleep early and he'll go to sleep. But my daughter's the one that usually take a little longer to go to sleep. But once she start getting tired, she'll say, "Daddy, I'm sleepy, I'm tired," and she'll go down and lay and go to sleep.
And does it take long getting them up in the morning, ready for school, knowing that you got to get ready for work? Like, how is that experience in the morning?
Well, basically what I do is I get them ready first and then I get ready. Because it
Okay.
don't take me long to get ready. I just gotta make sure they get up. I bathe them and they brush their teeth and wash their face and then I put on their clothes and get their snack bag ready and get their jacket, their blanket, and we out.
Okay. Because I would. Which one gives you the most problems in the morning? I would
My
think that
daughter,
they
she
would.
always talk, "Oh, I'm cold, daddy, I'm cold, daddy." My
Oh,
daughter, my
okay.
son get up and no with no hesitation. That's why I always get him up first and make sure he get ready first, and then I get her up and then get
Hmm.
her ready. And she's a little more slower process.
Okay. Like, are you the type of father that spoils them, or you just like standoffish about a lot of things?
Well, I give them basically the necessary assessments that they need, and sometimes I give them a little extra for as like toy, certain things that they ask for. Because like I said, I didn't have a father. I didn't have nobody to support me like I support my kids. So I try not to disappoint my kids when they ask for stuff. If I'm not able to do it, I'll let them know, look, I can't get it this week, but next week I'll make sure you have it. But I'll never tell my kids I will get them something and I disappoint them because I've been disappointed all my life. So as a child, as a youth,
Okay. And would you like for your children to go to college, or you just want them to just get done high school and that's that?
well, I prefer them to further their education, but like at this point, I mean, I can't make them do what they don't want to do. If they're up to do it, if they want to take a trade or go into their own business and be entrepreneurs, I let them decide what they want. Because if I decide what they want, they're not going to take the passion into it. If they pick what they want, they'll take more passion and willing to be able to go and reach out and do what they need to do and succeed to do what they want to do. So, I prefer them to, I want them to have a better life than I had. So I push that hard to make sure that I tell them education is the key. Go to school, learn, so you can better yourself.
That part.
You don't want to live like how half of the averages just settle for what they got instead of when you're able to do better. Don't settle for what you don't have to. And that's my goal. I strive, push my kids. Plus, my 5-year-old son always talking about he want a Bugatti, a Lamborghini, and a Ferrari. They always talking about
That's
$100 million.
expensive.
So for being 5-year-old, he know about luxury things. So that let me know that he's gonna really try and strive. And I always push him, no matter what. Make sure you always look out for your sister.
Right. You
That's
hear
the
that
that's
out
the
there?
least. No matter what, always make sure your sister is good.
Right.
I teach my kids to bond with each other, not to turn their back on each other, versus how their other siblings are, where they're not as close knit. Like my kids are very close to each other. My son look out for his sister look out for his brother.
Right.
So if you mess with him, you gotta mess with him.
And that I know for a fact. Okay? They showed me what that was all about. Okay? We end up having a balloon fight. Okay? That's how serious the game got. Yes, I had to pull out pots. Okay, with water, everything. You know. So tell us a little bit about this YouTube channel you're going to be starting, and without telling a lot of details, because you know people tend to steal ideas. So you want to, just give us a little, like a little trial
Well, it's basically it's gonna be a documentary of
summary.
my life with my two kids as a single father raising a boy and a girl. And
Okay.
y'all know having two of the opposite sex and me being a male and she being a female is a lot different than a mother and a daughter and a son. You know, because we don't have, we're two different genders. You know, and I'm very particular about, you know, touching my daughter in her private area because she's a female. But I have no choice but to make sure she's clean and wash her because I am her dad and I'm a single father. So, yeah, I don't really care for it, but at the end of the day,
She
I
got to
gotta do
be
what's right
clean.
for what's my daughter. You know, I gotta I always tell my daughter, go to the bathroom, make sure you wash your papa. You know, I'm not like one of the other fathers that don't. I make sure my daughter cleans herself as her mother would tell her to do, being a man. Most of y'all like y'all afraid to say certain things, this and that. At the end of the day, you gotta realize that's your child. You gotta go above and beyond when it comes to your child, male or female. You know, so we sometimes we get like, oh, I want to go back. Man, look, when their mama needed tampons, I went to the store and bought them. If she needs some, I will go to the store and pick them up. I ain't no shame in going to buying tampons or maxi pads for no female.
Not at all.
You know, buy personal hygiene for a woman. You would want your woman to smell good or your child to smell good. So I mean, why y'all act like it's such a horrific thing to go buy personal items for a female? It's
Right.
not. You would go buy your own personal items. What's the difference?
Right.
At least everybody know what Darren. He sure take pride in his woman. He's not ashamed.
Right.
You know, that's the same thing if you have a daughter. You got to be able to willing to go do the same thing and get stuff for your daughter.
Mhm. Okay. Uh, do y'all do fun things and go places?
Yes.
Like what kind of places do you guys
You
go
know, I
to?
take them to the park. Some weekends we go barbecue, and I take them out to the local flea market. They have rides and stuff. You know, I let them ride their bicycle. I play catch with my son. He
Okay.
like baseball. He likes soccer. My daughter likes soccer. So, I take them out there to do activity things to keep them busy. I'm thinking about putting them in karate so they can get learn to
Yes.
be more disciplined when it comes to, as far as being respectful towards an adult and stuff like that. Because I feel that being into martial arts will give you that stability that what you be more responsible of your action towards an adult and not be so dismantled like some of these kids are today. I don't want my kids growing up like that. They gotta be mannered towards adults, respect adults. I don't teach them to be disrespectful to nobody, definitely not their mom. They may see that come from other siblings, but I teach them every day. I bet I never see y'all be disrespectful to your mom regardless. Just because what your other sisters and brothers do, y'all not gonna be the
Right.
same.
And I agree. I feel like martial arts do help calm the child, and it also teaches them discipline and control.
Yep.
So, I'm really so for all that. And you need to defend yourself, It's getting serious nowadays.
Yes, it is.
So, you know, um, in the end of the day, if anything ever happened, Lord forbid, but we being realistic here, when they'll have each other and they'll be able to, protect it.
Right.
Because doing martial arts is like having the ability of fighting
Right.
skills as an adult,
Right.
depending on how skillful they
It's something,
become.
and it's more something positive than having your kids out here in the streets,
Right.
hanging around the wrong crowd, end up getting killed or in jail and stuff like that. You don't want your kids basically following in the footsteps of the other, or even I made a mistake as a young youth, as a young adult when I had my son, and yeah, I'm dealing with the mistakes I made. I did something that I shouldn't have did, but at the time, I was hot headed and things happened. But I teach my son not to go down the same path. And I don't want my son to be how I was in the streets, being rough out here and with the guns and all that stuff. So I teach my son not to indulge in that kind of behavior because I don't want him to make a mistake like I made. We are true enough. We all make mistakes, but if you can prevent a mistake from happening as a tragic mistake or a big mistake, try to avoid it.
Yes, I agree.
You sleepy? Okay, go there.
And we almost done. We have like 7 more. Um, do you allow them to eat sugar? What's up with the sugar in the young bucks? What's up with the
Well,
sugar?
you know, when it comes, they like they sweet and they also like they dinners because they do definitely got to be at the dinner. Like I tell them, you keep eating that sweet, you ain't gonna have no teeth, you're gonna be gummy. I tell them, hey, every time they want candy, this and that, I say, look, keep on now, you ain't gonna have no teeth in your mouth. You're gonna be gummy. I'm
And
having to
she
eat some
laughing.
digits. I try to keep them from eating too much sweet and sugar because, as Afro Americans, we are high in diabetes and what's the other one called?
Blood pressure
Yes. So,
and heart
we
problems.
gotta try to remember all that outside food, Burger King, McDonald's, that is not good to be eaten. But
No,
the ones who out there feed that to their kids every day, that's why you need to learn how to cook and get on that stove.
right,
Because all you're doing is just tearing down your kids with the bad, and you just messing up their health.
right. I don't even eat out a lot. Once in a blue.
You gotta make sure they eat fruits and stuff,
Right,
bananas, and they eat greens, like vegetables and stuff. You can't always just want to give them junk because they don't want to eat. Sometimes you gotta make sure they eat something that's healthy to kind of basically balance out the badness that they eat.
right,
That'll keep your health in a good aspect if you balance it out instead of just going one route and just eat this bad food and not try to calculate that by eating something that's nutritious and healthy. It's the difference. You got to think about the long lasting effect.
yeah.
You know,
And especially all the stuff they put in the food now.
that's
Like
right.
that.
And you know that what they call it when they overweight,
Obese.
obesity is out there. And you know how hard it is. Kids going to school, kids picking on kids. Some kids can't take that pressure, and they end up ending their life behind the stress that they get from other kids because
Right.
they so. You got to think about all that. You got to really prepare your kids for what the world's going to throw at them. So you got to let them know. You can't sit around here and think it's okay for your kids to pick at other kids, bully kids. It's not because if the shoe was on the other foot, somebody did that kid. You're a kid. How would you feel? So you got to teach your kid to respect everybody, no matter.
Right.
We all are different. We all ain't gonna be the same. Some of us gonna be bigger than others, smaller than others, but as a whole, as a person, you gotta love each other. So that nitpicking about he this or she that, that's not a good thing.
No, it's
You gotta
not.
teach a kid to respect
Right.
everybody, regardless of whatever features or how they look. They
Right.
still human. They're
That's
people. They
right.
have feelings. So y'all gotta look at the whole picture. You got a
Right.
lot of parents out there think that stuff is cute. It's
Right.
not cute.
No, it's
Picking at
not.
other people's kids.
Right.
So, we gotta be mindful of things that our kids say to other kids.
Right.
Your phone is in the room. Go in the room
Exactly.
and get your phone. It's not working. It's loading. I just told you that.
Okay. Do you get a lot of attention while you're out with the little ones? Like it's just you
To be
guys and
honest, I get a lot of respect out here when I'm out and about because even from males, they'll come up to me and approach me because and see the father bond me and my kids have. And, when they see me, they always see with my kids, or females too. Like if I don't have my kids, first thing they say, well, where are your kids at? Because they so used to me having my kids. I'm not a father that push my kids off on everybody else. Those are my responsibility. I'm gonna take care of my kids. I mean, true enough, it does take an effect on my personal life to a certain aspect, but at the end of the day, those are my kids. You know, when the time is right for me to start dating or seeing somebody, then the time is right. But as far as trying to rush into something, and I know I have a responsibility or not, that's the least of my worries. I'm more focused on my kids. Once my kids are more comfortable about certain things, or me dating somebody, or comfortable with the person that I'm talking to or seeing, then I will bring that person around my kids. I'm not the type of person that every person I meet got to come around my kids. It don't work
Right.
like that because
Okay.
I don't need my kids thinking it's okay to be having people in and out like drugs.
Right.
Y'all got to respect yourself and also your kids when it comes to these relationships instead of every
Mm.
time you meet somebody you want to introduce your kids. If that's not the person that you think that's gonna you're gonna be able to build something with, a bond with. Don't introduce them to your kids because how you think your kids gonna damn, somebody knew, somebody knew, somebody knew, and then when they friends over there, they look at all that. Kids are very
Mhm.
smart. They pay attention to everything, and they also
Yes.
remember everything. So y'all got to be mindful when you're dealing with male or female. You don't bring everybody around your kids until you're certain that's somebody that you're
Right.
gonna build and have a bond and be with. You
I
know,
agree.
it's just simple.
Yeah, because my mother didn't believe that I remember things from the age of 2, and I'm like trying to tell her, like, yo, I remember. And then when I told her that I remembered and started describing things, that's when, she just got mad and just like, I haven't spoke to her since, but children do remember from the age
They
of
like
like 2 years
sponges.
old.
They soak it up.
Yeah, it's a rarity, but it's children like me that remember at a very,
Yeah.
very young age. So, and like you said, they are like a sponge. They pick up the curse words, the behavior,
Yes.
even if they're not seeing the behavior, just the energy being around. Because I'm an
Yep.
empath, so I had a whole family that didn't even know that I was an empath. Mind you, I didn't know either, but I knew that I had an ability, and I knew that I had a gift, and I knew, I just didn't know what it was called. So here I am, this beautiful gift in the midst of everybody, and nobody knew. So feeling can also, trigger things and misdirect a being, a child, you know, and they don't really know really how much to well, they don't really know how to control a lot of their feelings and emotions because they're new to them. It's an experience for them. They have to be guided through that. So I totally agree um, with that. So moving along to the next question. Is it a challenge raising a boy and a girl versus 2 boys or 2 girls?
Yes, it is. Because you gotta understand, even with a boy, you gotta be very cautious and protective of a boy because you gotta be mindful that it ain't always necessarily a girl too. Because you got pedophiles out there like boys and girls nowadays. So you gotta be mindful about. That's why I say you gotta be careful who you bring around your kids. Because
That
you don't
part.
assume you know a person.
Right.
You gotta really know somebody to be bringing people around your kids.
Right.
Because especially if you got 2 girls, and even if you got a boy and a girl, it's just, it's like
It's still
double
depending
jeopardy,
on the sick
regardless.
person that's
Right.
around.
So
Yeah. Be
like I
mindful,
say,
women.
yeah,
Because I know a lot of women
yeah,
that just bought, and we gonna be real, okay? Some of y'all probably follow me, but hey, you know me, and you already know that I'm going to keep it 98, okay? So, I've met plenty of women, you know, and here, and it's just ridiculous how these women just make their children so actable. Okay, you can be messy, but why involve your children? Why involve your
right.
family? In that mess. It's just messy.
It's right.
It's like irresponsible. It's
Right,
like careless. It's like these are lives that like
right.
I just never understood that.
Basically, it's like this, ladies and men. A lot of you are selfish. When I mean selfish, selfish meaning as you only care about your happiness. You're not thinking about your kids' well-being when it comes to relationship. You got to understand too. It's just not you. If you have kids, so it got to be an overall agreement as far as a relationship. You got to make sure that your kids don't. You got to understand. A lot of times, man and female, y'all don't see the badness in them, but outside can feel it because you too much. Oh, you so in love with this person, you're not seeing the signs or the faults that that person have, but your kids sense that. So y'all gotta understand when your kids sense something, sit down and talk to them before you be so judgmental on a person. Really get to know a person and see do your kids' spirit agree with that person before you jump into a relationship with that person and not think about just self. Think about self and family. Because remember, one day they are going to be under the same roof with your kids. So if y'all can't get along and the kids can't get along with it, there's no point of you and him being together because you're just thinking about your happiness. What about the household happiness?
Right.
So y'all gotta look at the big picture. It's an overall thing, not just me.
Right.
See, if my kids don't agree and you don't like my kids, or my kids got a certain, I have to research more into that to see why my kids feel that way towards a person.
Right.
Not just, oh well, baby, you so fine. Nah, it ain't all about that.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, my kids' safety and health is more important than satisfying myself.
I know that's right. And I'm grateful that I grew up with a mother who didn't sleep around a lot. I wouldn't even say not even a lot, barely. And the little handful of relationships that she had, she always came and confided in us and asked us how do we feel about the individual that she wants to proceed, and if we, which it was so ironic how she never bought anybody that we did not approve of. We approved of all of them. One of them, when we got to know him, we you know that was the first guy she was with after you know my father and her separated. But I was very grateful to be around a woman, that really cared about how we felt about who she brought in the circle. My mother didn't really play that.
And that plays a big part because that keeps a healthy relationship and also a healthy household. Everybody's on the same page instead of just one. Because you
Yeah,
got to have somebody that's not just for you, but for the family.
yeah,
See, a lot of y'all, men and women, only deal with people that just about y'all. You got to understand, it got to be not just about y'all, it got to be about family.
right.
You need somebody that's family oriented, not just all about you.
Yeah, and
You
we
don't
all
see
were on the
nobody
same
else because you're going to always have some kind of
imbalance,
unbalance in
right?
the household. There's always going to be issues
Right.
in the household.
But everybody's still on that same
Right.
accord when it comes to
Right.
when things need to get done and
Yeah.
they ran a certain
And
way.
you don't have to worry about so much of the disrespectfulness or the altercation between whoever he is, man or woman. Because nowadays people like the same sex partners. But regardless of what it is, you gotta have some kind of relationship with your kids where y'all have an understanding. When somebody come into the house, y'all all need to sit down to the table and see what kind of
Person.
vibes they get from feedback from that person before you just so quick to judge, okay, yeah, this is my no. No. Learn a person first.
And
Go out a few times with the kid and see how y'all get along with each other. See how y'all correlate with each other.
yeah, some just move the guy in.
That's it. With no hesitation. Move the woman in.
I'm
No
like, what in
problem.
the world? Like, what happened?
You know what I'm saying? I don't care how good it is, but damn it, at the end of the day, kids.
And then they end up touching the
health.
children
That's
too.
what I'm saying. Because y'all so
They end
quick
up
to
touching them.
just because you want some of y'all, it's like y'all can't stand to be alone. It's okay to be alone.
Yes.
You don't have to be with somebody.
No.
Stop trying to be like everybody else. Be with somebody that's gonna
Look
make
at
you
me.
happy. Be with somebody who's gonna make you happy and also make the household happy.
Right.
Just don't just jump into a relationship because I'm so used to having somebody. So what? Sometimes it's best to be alone that you can get better in touch with yourself before you just jump out in that water and you get in that water every 3 months you got somebody different. How's that gonna work? You still gonna be alone because the same person you with, you keep switching up every 3 months. You ain't gonna never get together. And how that's gonna look for the kids and their friends coming up. Damn, every time you turn around, your mom got somebody different for your dad. That's not good. That's not a good look.
No.
See, our morals and our standards have flew the coop. We don't believe in the long distance. We more into the short term thing now. Y'all gotta stop leasing stuff and start getting stuff to own. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what it boils down to.
Pop my ponytail on that. Pop, pop.
You know what I'm saying?
For real though. So moving along, my next question is it hard dating while having children?
Well, it's not so. It depends, because you got a lot of it goes like I say, men or women that have older grown kids. And by me starting late with my children, I started, when I was in my late 30s having kids, you know, so a lot of kids don't like little kids. They it depends on the person too sometimes because you still, no matter what, you still got people that have grandkids and still have love for kids. And not like, well, my kids grown now, I don't want to be raising nobody else's kids. But like I tell everybody else, those are my kids. You don't have to raise my kids.
Right.
I raise my own kids, but it's a total package. It ain't just you gonna be with me and not my kids.
Right.
It don't work like that.
Right.
Y'all women gotta understand that if a man can't be there for you or your kid, then you don't need him. What's the point of having a man there for you and he ain't there for your kid? Because
Right.
if a situation comes, guess what? He gonna pack them bags, and when you go home, he gonna be gone. And then what you gonna be? Oh, I'm so. Now you gonna be hurt and all alone and broken up. So y'all gotta think: is this what you really want? Sometimes is it really worth the effort and time? See, when you put time and effort into something, you gotta make sure it's gonna be long lasting. You don't want something as soon as you open the door and you close it, it's over.
After that.
That's just like getting your quick. You don't want that. You want something that's gonna long last. Like I said, it's just so many of us so quick to want to be with somebody and not really take the time to learn a person.
Right.
Then because your friend got somebody or whoever, that don't mean you got to be like that. Y'all got to stop following trends. We follow trends when it comes to relationships. Then because but every relationship ain't happy or healthy. Always remember that. What you see is a mirage.
Right.
So don't think because it looks this way on the outside, but once you get inside, then you see something totally different. You're like, damn, I thought that's how they portray it to be. It's a healthy relationship, but it's not. I want to say sometimes you got to take time, go out a few times, see how y'all correlate with each other. Don't just, okay, yeah, that's because you think a person look a certain way and all this.
Right.
You want you a trophy. Always remember, them trophies don't last forever. Those trophies do get brittle and break and change. So y'all gotta look at something for the long haul. You gotta understand if you with somebody, is you gonna be with that person when they start getting old and changing and looking at different, and you still gonna love them the same. Don't love them for what you see now if you ain't gonna love them for what you see later. It's pointless to be with a person in a relationship if you can't go from beginning to end. Because y'all all know we all age and we all change, we all look different. We might gain a little weight, or we might this, or we might that, we might lose some teeth. Whatever the case may be, y'all gotta understand is you gonna be in it for the long haul. Just because they look like something 20 years ago, they may not look that same way 20 years later. But if you truly love somebody, you're not gonna look at that because you love that person for who they was and who they is and who they still is.
Right.
Past, present, or future. That's what we gotta understand now. But a lot of us, we so into what TV promotes as what a person should look like. Let's be realistic.
Yes.
That's all plastic.
Let's be this realistic right here. Hey,
you gotta get something that's all natural, somebody that's happy for who they is. They love themselves, not love what you want people to love about you. That's where we go wrong. Because we portray an image that is not us.
Right.
So think about that, men and ladies.
With emphasis.
Is that really what you want? Be honest with yourself. Is that what really makes you happy, or is that what makes everybody else think you're happy, and that's what you want just to say, oh, I got this to show off with? Because remember this, just as quick as you got them, the quicker they'll lead you to for something else. So as soon as you start getting a little gut, getting a little chubby, guess what? They're going to start looking for that six-pack somewhere else. They're going to get tired of that loaf. Remember that.
I'm getting the gut too, so I already know.
It's all about sanity of sake for yourself. Y'all got to realize, like I keep telling the people, man, y'all want a person for the wrong reasons. If you're going to be with a person, be with a person for who they are. And you got to be willing to love that person as they are, no matter what.
Right.
But we get the mentality of, well, if you don't look a certain way, I can't be with you. Oh, my friends gonna say this, or you worry about other people's opinions instead of worrying about your own opinion.
Mhm.
You gotta understand too. You're with that person, not them.
Right.
So if she been making you happy,
Right.
don't let nobody else turn you from being happy because of what somebody else say.
Right.
That's where y'all go wrong at, because y'all too busy worrying about what other people got to say about who you with. Long they there for you, mentally, financially, and physically, and you're happy, why worry about what everybody else say? Because guess what? They home ain't happy.
And
So
you
they
gotta
want to make
raise
you
your children.
miserable.
Right. Y'all gotta raise your own children
That's
together.
right. They want to make y'all in the same boat as they are. You know, y'all gotta start listening to people when it comes to relationship and sit back and like, before they came around, y'all was good. Now some people put bugs in you, and now you start with, oh, this and this and that. No,
Now you
you
breaking
got
up
to
the
weed out the
household.
bad seed. Now your household is going self-destruct. Now everything's falling to shambles.
Now the children got to go through a mental.
Yeah, because of that. Y'all gotta look at the whole overall picture,
Yeah,
man.
can't be selfish.
If a person is your friend and really truly is your friend, they will have nothing to say about your relationship. They will not be telling you or putting down the other partner in your relationship. Because as long as you happy, they should be happy. If they're your real true friend. If they're not your friend, they'll find every fault and reason to keep putting bad stuff in your ear to make you turn against what's happy for you. Right. Because their stuff is not happy.
Right.
We got to stop falling victim to other people's problems in relationship. Everybody's relationship is different. Because of how their relationship goes, doesn't mean your relationship got to be the same.
Right. And okay, so preacher, he busted up though, didn't he? He gave it up. Okay, so how about would you date a woman with children? Knowing that you have children and you see how overwhelming at some points it could be. Would that like turn you off about being with a woman that has children?
No.
Okay.
Because we all gotta realize,
ladies, he's single. Ladies, he's single. It's like, no,
ain't nobody out here nowadays don't have a child or two. You gotta understand, when your mom separated from your father, another man took the responsibility and raised you guys. So you can't separate yourself like, oh, well, I don't want to. A lot of people have that mentality, oh, well, because he got kids, she got kids, I don't want nobody with kids. But you have kids of your own, so what's the difference? Just because he got kids, you have kids too. Yeah. The kids can get to know each other and bond together and become the best of friends. Right. We got to stop being so prejudgmental. Okay, yeah, true enough. Kids from the 60s and the 70s and the 50s is different from the kids from the 90s and up. A lot of kids are more disrespectful, and they like to cuss their parents. And they like to do certain things. And then you got to understand, a lot of the adults now, too, try to go with the trend where you can't be going out partying, hanging out with your kids. It doesn't work like that, because you got to separate the difference between I'm your parent and you the child. Now, when you start hanging out with your kids, doing certain things with your kids, drinking and smoking with your kids, now they think you their friend, so they're going to lose a lot of respect for you. And when you get around certain people, they're going to start saying things that they shouldn't say around people, and people going to be looking at it like, well, darn, why they talking like that? But y'all got to understand, when you grow them into that, that's what you expect. Y'all can't be sitting up and trying to party, hang out with your friends, and you wonder why some of y'all daughters date the men y'all go, and y'all date some of the men that your daughters go with nowadays. That's crazy. How you gonna date somebody like that?
Well, I like my young bucks.
How you date people that go to school with your daughter or your son? That's crazy. That this society don't got where that y'all just look at anything and say, okay, well, no, it doesn't work like that. Like I say, we lost the morals.
That's another topic, because y'all men do it.
Yeah.
So why us women can't?
That's
why that should be another topic.
Yeah.
Okay. Men and women. You heard him. So he owed me another interview, y'all. he owed me another interview. That's another topic. Okay. So moving on. So is it kind of hard to get them to comply to things?
No, because like I said, if you was born and growed up with morals, you would have more understanding when it comes. Okay, well, you just have to approach it a little different. when it comes to that. You know, you can't just rush into it. You know, you got, like I say, it's all about getting to know the kids and mingling with the kids to see what kind of feedback you get from both parties, as far as the kids and the male, and see how they actually correlate with each other. You know, you go out a few times and y'all hitting off, everybody have a good time laughing. That give you a good.
No, I was meaning like, is it hard to get them to listen to you?
Oh,
Like
the
when you're,
kids.
yes, when you're trying to get them. Sorry, y'all.
Oh yeah.
I didn't make it
to,
clear.
to a certain aspect.
Is it kind of hard to get them to comply?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily, because you know I kind of instilled in them where, you know, I tell them I don't want to have to beat y'all. I rather just be able to talk to y'all, and when I say something to you, you should listen.
Right.
Because I don't really like to hit my kids. You know, that ain't always the answer.
Right. You know, you don't want to be. Say no.
You know, just because you beat a kid don't mean the kid gonna listen to you.
Right.
Sometimes you got to be able to talk a little rough to them to make them understand where you don't have to put your hands on them. Mm-hmm. You know, I prefer to talk to them with a little toughness than beat them all the time. You know, if it gets to a point where I have to beat them, but when I beat them, I don't beat them with a belt necessarily. I'll pop them with my hand. Because I don't want to leave any scars or bruises accidentally hurt my child. Because, you know, sometimes we get overwhelmed with anger, and sometimes we don't realize what when we beat them, we really beat them hard. You know, so it's a certain aspect. Yeah, true enough. A lot of them deserve to be a little rough with, but at the same time, we got to kind of take that trend from that. Well, we feel that we got to be so physical with our kids and not able to sit down and talk to our kids and make our kids understand. Because if we really take the initiative to talk to our kids and teach them the right way, they'll listen.
And the last question, before your summary, is when it comes to dating when they get older, because I noticed that you shared with us that they're a year apart.
Right.
So when it comes to dating, will they both be able to date at the same age, or will he be able to date first because he's a boy?
No, they'll be able to date at the same. You know, when they get up to a certain age, and you know, like I say, if you have trust in your kids and you have a good relationship with your kids, you should be able to let them open up a little more and have more faith that they won't do anything that's out the way, and they'll come talk to you if anything happens beyond that's unnecessary should happen. You know, I have a lot of trust in my kids where that I feel that they don't go out and do something that's unnecessary because how I raised them. You know, if you raise your kids in a good aspect, and and that go back to you guys and women having different people around your kids. You know, you don't want your kids to grow up thinking it's okay to have all these different types of people, all these different men or women think, oh well, my mama did it or my daddy did it, so it must be okay. You don't want to instill that in your kids that botched relationships is what's happening. You know, you got to, like I say, you got to talk to your kids and teach your kids, teach them the right way, talk to them the right way. Be a parent, not a friend to them.
Right.
When I mean friend, like a buddy friend, like, oh, let's go drink, let's go hang out, let's go. No. It's okay to do certain things with your kid, but it's a limit to everything. That's what we got to understand. Know your limits.
Right.
That's what it boils down. Know your limits when it comes to your kids. Separate the difference between I'm your daddy, regardless of what. Just remember, I'm still your daddy or I'm your mom. You know, a lot of y'all tend to forget to let your kids understand that, and you just go run wild with it.
Right.
Because y'all want to try to blend in with the trend. You think because you got a figure eight shake, oh, I still got it going on. No, you got to sometimes sit back and be a mama to your kids or be a father to your kids.
Right. I agree.
You know, so like I say, it's all about how you put good intents into your kids. You know, teach them with morals and scruples, and not just the way society is and what you see on TV.
Right. I agree. Don't let the TV and the media raise them.
That's right.
You raise them.
That's what a lot of y'all do.
Right. They sit them in front of a TV.
Yeah. Because you want to You don't want to be bothered with them. You think that's the easy way out. No, all you're doing is setting them up for destruction.
Mm-hmm.
Because what they see on TV, they don't want to do.
Especially when you lock them in the room and you keep them in the room, and and you're partying in another area of the house, like it still affects the children in some way, somehow. It affects them. Either they, listening to sounds they shouldn't be hearing. Um, you know, they're seeing things they shouldn't see. They're inhaling things they shouldn't inhale. It's just things you have to be mindful of when you have children. That's another reason why I didn't want none. My mother quick to say, "Oh, she can't have none." Lady, I just don't want none. I'm that responsible, if not anything else, when it comes to that, because I don't have the patience and the time to be sitting around catering to no child 24/7. Like, I don't have time for that. I can barely stay in the same apartment for a long time. This is the longest I ever been in one place. 6 years ever in my life, ever. I mean, without traveling and staying somewhere else, paying rent somewhere else, and like my first time just going ham staying, and it wasn't that bad. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't that bad. But I still have to move around. I'm moving to Africa, by the way. But I still, have to, move around. But children aren't for everybody. I notice a lot of people, they just hang and have sex with these people, and then they don't even worry about the consequences. Like, they literally don't think about the
Yep.
consequence.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, well, I I at least laid with people that I wouldn't mind having a child by, if it ever
Right.
came to that. You know what I mean? I just didn't just go around just sleeping with anybody.
Free game.
And I've always been blessed with generous men, so that alone was good enough, because I'm bossy. So just give me the money and I can do whatever I'm going to do. And if I need a babysitter, you can do that. And they were good with children. So, it would have worked out for me, if that would have happened. But I just didn't think that any of them was good enough to do that, and let alone, I just didn't think that my life is stable enough. It's still not stable. Maybe when I get to Africa, I might have one. I don't know, maybe one, but I do know that I'm going to adopt. But we must bring Terry back, because this was actually flowing decently. He told me to get the little cards. Talking about some organizing. I had it organized. So I made sure I had it organized, so I wasn't really all over the place. And if you've been tuning in, you already know I'm always all over the place. So hopefully we can have him back maybe next week, or whenever he's not really busy, because he's always with the children. Actually, we were supposed to do it yesterday, but he was busy catering to them, getting things together for them, for the new week. So he couldn't do it. And then I didn't feel like doing it last week, because I got niggeritis. I cooked, and that food was good. That salmon, and I forgot what, rice or something else. I think broccoli, whatever. My favorite dish, and I couldn't. So it was kind of my fault, and then his fault, and then, but we was balanced today. So
Right.
hopefully next week we can come up with another good topic and some more organizations
Right.
skills being, you know, um, um, applied. So I'm trying to like get the professionalism, which I do, but if I do it too much, people gonna think I'm arrogant. And I just want to be down to earth. I just want to be comfortable. I don't want to be all stuck and stiff and all like, bougie. Because when I get like that, and people up north know what I'm talking about, when I get on my conceited ish, it's a problem. When I'm so I try not to do that, because then that keeps down the haters. I notice. So I just want to, find a balanced way of running my channel. But like I said, I love everybody to be them, be themselves. As long as you're being respectful, hey, come as you are. I'm not judging anybody. We all sick. Look at me. So once again, Terry, I want to thank you for coming.
No problem.
And hopefully you'll join me next week, and you continue doing what you're doing. And I just want to let you know, guys, and let him know, which I always let him know once in every blue moon, that he's an amazing father. I watch him operate with his children, and that's why I was so flattered and eager to, and honored to, interview such a man. This is my roommate. I allowed him, this young man, I allowed to come into my space with his beautiful family and their energy. And now my home feels like a home. Is not so quiet, even though they're still quiet. But
Right.
they try to make their little noise. But yeah, and it's cool. I respect his swag and his style when it comes to his children. I really, really do. I respect it to the fullest. And I also noticed that a lot of men that take care of their children, they come out a lot better. No disrespect to the women. I'm just saying, when that masculine energy
Right.
is around, it's just the other energies tend to submit
Right.
to that sort of energy. So, I've never seen a father that took care of their children and their children been like just all jacked up, you know. So I commend you for that. I respect you for that. And um, we're going to look for more updates on you and the little ones. Yeah?
That's right. Coming soon to a 2 near you. Look for me. Single dad, proud father.
And I always come up with a PS motivation from the ancestors, but this one, I'm going to do this one. And the PS motivation is take care of your children.
That's it.
Okay?
Be a father.
Take care of your children.
Not a sperm donor. Or
That's
a
right.
deadbeat.
Call them.
Regardless of whatever the situation is, man or woman, always be there for your child. Remember, that is your child. That is a part of you.
That is you. Stay safe, y'all.
Be out.